Wake up in the morning, get my grind on. Hop in the shower, brush my teeth and get my shine on. Hey, Scholar Mac, we taking trips to different time zones. I feel like E.T. way these bitches trying to follow home. Wake up in the morning, get my grind on.
Welcome everybody to Living on Purpose podcast. We're your host, James Hagler, and myself, Jason Wilson. Today we have Shane Mosley Jr.,
What's going on, everybody?
A champion in his own right. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you, brother.
Welcome.
All right. So today, Shane, we like to get into people's background information and everything. Man, did you decide to become a fighter on your own, or was this an idea of your dad's, or how did that all come together?
It's a funny story. I find that I've been telling this story quite a bit lately. I didn't want to be a boxer. I used to tell people, no, I don't want to be a boxer. I don't want to be a boxer. That's what my dad does, things like that. And one day, one of my buddies, he was a huge fan of my dad's, and he was a boxer himself. He's an amateur boxer. And he's like, hey man, you want to go to the gym and work out, and maybe we could spar. And I was like, all right, I'll go out there and work. So we went to Zeus Boxing Club, and we were there. And, our I guess you could say the coach there for us, and we did about I think 4 or 6 rounds, something like that. And afterwards, I had a bloody nose, and I was all beat up, and I was like, man, I got to do this again. Let's go tomorrow. You know what I mean? And ever since then, man, I've been locked in. It's so funny. Ever since I saw kind of that being humbled, it made me want to work on myself. It made me want to become better. And I felt it, that fighter in me was like, hey, you just woke up. You know what I mean? And I want to fight. And so, and obviously I think being around my dad, being around the way he looks at things, his mentality, around how he trains and all the fights that I've been to, all the people that I've met, you get to see people on a different level. Fighters, especially around the time when they're fighting, it's a different type of animal. It's almost spiritual. So when you see that in people and you grow up around that, you kind of learn to gravitate to that. And so I feel like I definitely gravitated to that energy, and that's 16 years now. No, 17. 17 years now. I'm boxing and still boxing.
So did you fight amateur too?
Yeah. So after that, I trained for a while. It was a little bit of a process because just getting the training and kind of making my own way to get there. My stepmom that I was living with at the time, my dad's ex-wife, she basically told me, listen, if you want to do this, you're gonna have to figure this out, right? Because it's gonna be tough for you. It's gonna be hard for you. And I love that. I love that she made it difficult for me. I love that she made it if you want this, you're gonna have to go and make your way for this. And we're not gonna facilitate that. You're gonna have to facilitate yourself. So if you gotta get a ride, you gotta ride a bike or walk or whatever you gotta do, you go figure it out. Because guess what? People are gonna deny you. They're gonna tell you no, that you're not good enough, that you're not, that you shouldn't be here, you're not as good as your dad, all of those things. Obviously, when she was telling me that in that moment, I was like, oh, you're not gonna take me? What the heck? You're mean,
Yeah.
But now I'm happy that she did that, because she made me stronger, made me mentally stronger, made me understand that life and things that you want are going to be hard. Anything that you want, anything, it is not going to be easy. Especially if you want to be good at it, and you want or to be great at it, or to be excellent at it, whatever the case is, it's going to be really, really hard. So you need people to tell you no. You need people to say, hey, of course, like in a loving way, you need to figure this out.
I know right where you're coming from, man. Because when I was boxing, you know, it was, you know, I always got that from everybody, especially with people in the gym. Well, why are you fighting? You don't got to fight. You ain't had a hard life like your dad. You know, you got it easy. You could do this. You could do this. But you know, the fighter, you're not gonna do it. It's gonna be.
Are you so handsome, man? Like, why you so handsome?
I hate just to handle that.
You know what I mean? Like, honestly, like I'm sure they told you that, and they tell me that, oh man, you should be modeling or getting, you know, movie star or something. Which, I mean, hey, I'm all up for it. Is anybody out there? You know what I mean? But
my dad said that to me. I remember we was driving in the car. We was on the way to the gym, and he says, "Why you want to box?" And I was like, "Well, what do you mean? I like it. I like boxing. You know, I'm always around it. I was with him every day." And he said, "You're too good looking to be boxing. You need to find something else." And I was like, "Yeah." I didn't like hearing that crap. I was like, nah, because I was always with him and Robbie, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My uncle Robbie says I went to the gym with them every day, you know. So I wanted to be just like them, you know, and that was always on my mind was the box. He just didn't want me to fight, and something similar to what your moms did. That he was like, I'm not gonna be there for you. I don't want nothing to do with you doing boxing. Leave me alone. Don't talk to me about it. But then there were times where he was asking me about the boxing. What are you doing? How you doing over here? Look, you gotta do it this way. If you want to fight, you can be out there fighting in the street. Look, you broke your hand. And I'm like, what that? Well, you want to fight in the Junior Olympics? I help you fight in Junior Olympics. Okay, but it never happened. You know, they would just the Petronelli brothers. They would always talk about it and tease us about it. But little did they know that we were serious. Me and my brothers, we were serious. And every time some kid come in the gym, we had to box him. That was the golden rule. Little kid coming in, that's our age, 7, 8 years old, we had to get in there boxing. And I was like, but we can't be a fighter. It was crazy, man. So how was it with your dad? Did he work with you too?
No, absolutely. So when I told him that, you know, I wanted to be a boxer and stuff like that, he said, listen, if you're going to do this, you got to be serious. Like, we're not half-assing this. You got to take this real serious. And he was very encouraging on that side. Like I said, I just got off the phone with him right now. He's very encouraging with that, and I definitely like that aspect of it. But he's very much so on the side of you know, this is your own thing. You got to do it. You know what I mean? You have to make your own way. So, you know, I feel like it was better. Early in my career, my dad was like, you know, my manager, my trainer. He also, you know, promoted, you know, or, you know, helped promote. So like he was like very involved in my career, and I feel like that always overshadowed me. And I felt like I like how the relationship is now, opposed to when he was very involved in my career, because I feel like I only get the questions when it's fight time, right? Like on my everyday, like I never, like nobody ever brings up, oh, you're Shane Mosley, you know, especially at the gym and where I go, you know what I mean? Like nobody ever brings that up to me. So it's not anything I ever think about or even care to think about, because like what he did is what he did, right? But like obviously when I get to the fight, we hear, you know, oh, well, how's it feel to be son of a legend and blah, 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 right? And it's like, I'm only going to get more of that when he's right on the other side of me, right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The pressure's on. The pressure's
Right. I mean, and I'm cool with pressure, but it's like, it's unnecessary, right? And I've literally, it made me cringe. I was fighting in Tennessee, and it was like a little venue, right? And so like, you know, super duper small. Literally as we're walking out, like we're walking to the ring, me and him, and this guy comes out and is like, hey man, can I get an autograph? I told that dude, I'm like, bruh, do you see y'all about to walk to the ring? Get the hell out of here. I'm get the hell out of here. You know what I'm doing right now? I'm at work.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you an autograph. I'm gonna put a black eye on you.
Right, man. Like, come on, man, cut it out. You're tripping right now. But obviously, if my dad's, you know, there, they're gonna do that. all right, if he's in the crowd and he's, you know, doing his thing in the crowd, that doesn't affect me. So I'm cool with that. So I like kind of where everything is now. It gives me my space to be my own person and make my own destiny. You know what I mean? Like I have the opportunity to do me. And you know, I kind of love the position that I am right now. You know what I mean? Like when I become world champion, you know, I'm currently 17-4, but when I become a world champion, because that's not the you know, the ideal, you know, I'm not, you know, undefeated, I've lost and all these things. But when I become world champion, it's gonna be like, look, I told you who I was.
That's right.
Now y'all see.
I get what your dad's doing now. You know, because I told my son, and I'm nobody, you know what I'm saying? But I told my son, I said, you know what? I couldn't do business with him because he wanted to do his own thing. And I know the right way, and I know how my dad did things, and I'm old school. So the new guys do a little different. So I told him, I said, look, you know what? I'm not going to be involved in your boxing business, but I'll be there for you as a father. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how he's taking it. It looks like he's doing all right with it. But like I said, I had to stay away because I told my dad about it. And he was like, just leave him alone. You know, he said, just leave him alone and just be there for him as a father. And, and you know, make sure that, you know, he got the right opponents and make sure that, you know, just be in that background and let him walk the dog's stool. Let him do it. That way he'll find out who he is. From
a son to a father, you're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing. I did my best when I was away from my father, and not like any weird thing, but it's mine. And I want to be able to claim that I'm my own man. You're my father and I love you, but I'm my own man. And I need to find that out, dude. I need to scrape my elbows, scrape my knees. I need to take the bangs and bruises. And I know that you don't want to see that, and it probably hurts you, but that's when I'm going to grow up, because I'm going to go, you know what? I'm not going to do that no more. Or I need to change this up. I need to do these things, right? And it's going to help me become a better man. But if you baby me, if you are there and giving me your input, I'm going to, even though I probably want that, I'm going to be resistant as well. It's a weird thing, because like my dad was there, I was like really resistant and like, oh, you're not going to tell me what to do. I want to be my own person. But like, I love you being here. You know what I mean? So it's like, but like when I had that away, and I had that opportunity to be able to be my own, I can create my own. I can, you know, feel like I have my own thing. And of course, I'm gonna come to you when I need when I need you. When I feel like I need you, I'm gonna come to you. Hey, what do you think about this? Right? And then it's like, boom, now we're good. That's right. And but that's with any father and son, right? I need you to be there for me when I feel like I don't have anybody, but I don't want you also imposing you, because I feel like, dad, get off. Right. So it's like, it has to be kind of that, like, come here, you know what I mean? And to feel better that way, you know what I mean? So I feel like me and my dad's relationship got a whole lot better when I was able to feel like I can call him, you know, and be like, hey man, what do you think about this? Or what's your opinion? Or hey, like let's just talk. What's going on with you? You know what I mean? And then it just helps being. But it's when it's about business and when it's about boxing and all this stuff, it gets complicated. You know what I mean? Right. And of course, you know, obviously, you probably, for you, like you say, your son has a boxing gym. You got a boxing podcast. You know what I mean? Like your dad was, you know, a legend. You know, obviously, boxing is very, very close, but it doesn't have, you know what I mean? And it's going to be there, but like, obviously we got to talk about sometimes what's real and what's from man to man. So, yeah, man, that's great. And I think we definitely have those conversations as well, you know, and you got to look at Mayweather and his father, you know what I'm saying? Mayweather and his father, they went at it because his father was trying to teach him about, you know how to spend his money, and we just tell him how to do things. And Mayweather wasn't hearing it at the time. He was young. He was doing his thing. He was becoming a legend, and you know, they got into it. And the best thing that I liked out of that whole situation was that they squashed it, and they was able to clean it up and get back to father and son, because it was devastating to see that just in the public. You know what I'm saying? That's something that you want. If something like that should happen, you want that
behind closed doors, and where you can have your privacy and to work it out, you know. But I'm so glad that they, you know, they fixed the issue.
Absolutely,
you know?
absolutely.
So Shane, did you have any other mentors growing up as far as fighters are concerned?
Oh man, I've had many, countless, but my grandfather is one of them. Obviously, you know, he trained my dad, and you know, that's another thing, you know, having kind of that lineage, you know what I mean? Like my grandfather was a huge, and especially in my amateur career and young in my early boxing career, huge. Like the foundation of my boxing is from him. Um, and then going through like the Contender and being around my dad, I had brother Nazim Richardson. He was my dad's trainer, Bernard Hopkins' trainer. He was my trainer, and he was a huge influence in my career. I still have his saying stuck in my head: "Swim without getting wet." You know what I mean, or you know, a whole bunch of others. But you know, huge influence. Yeah, and like all of the guys that I've been around. Bones Adams, Justin Gamber. I mean, the list is countless, man. I mean, you know, obviously this boxing fraternity is fairly small, and so you get around a lot of people. From Wild Card, Freddie Roach, Julian Chua. That's one of my best friends, man. He trains Zurdo Ramirez. I think it's Ramirez, Zurdo Ramirez. So, but yeah, anyways, there's been a lot of people, and when you're in that boxing community and world, like, you know, basically everybody knows everybody, and it's super duper small, and you learn that there's a lot of good people there.
No doubt. So, didn't you fight on because I know I seen you fight. I seen you fight on TV.
Yes, sir.
I think it was a 10-rounder. I'm trying to. It was a Pacquiao, and the Pacquiao when he fought the dude from Australia.
Yeah.
He was on. That's the cut. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I've one of the biggest. I'm the second biggest now. It's the second biggest card in Australian history, and I was the second most watched fight on that card.
Oh yeah, because when I didn't even know you was fighting, man. I was like,
yeah,
what?
yeah.
I said, what? And I was like,
nuts. And it was crazy. What's even more crazy is I got a majority decision loss in his hometown.
But they say you was off your game that night, man. They said
I was definitely off my game, but I think because I didn't take into consideration the time in which you got to get there. You know, I mean, I was young in my career. I think it was my 10th fight. So I went over to Australia, just like, all right, I'll go over there, and you know, just
it was some good money.
exactly. You know, like, all right. And when the first day I got there, I was like, whoa, like I feel weird. You know what I mean? Like this.
Because it's a culture shock. I don't know if that was your first time. Well, probably first time out of the country fighting anyway.
Yeah. First time out of the country fighting, and in your body, you're just like, your clock needs time to kind of get
jet lag.
Yeah, absolutely, and yeah. So that's a whole, you know, another story, but. I should have got there sooner, and I probably would have.
Well, that's why when he fought George Foreman in Africa, he was over there already. You know what I'm saying? Well, he got used to it, man.
And he did what he was supposed to do.
Foreman ran out of gas, boy. That was it.
Right.
You know, that was it. So when you go to those high climate states like Colorado and stuff, you got to get there early, because if you don't, man, it's going to be tough on you, that altitude, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so like I enjoyed all those experiences, man. My last fight, I fought Jason Quigley, and that was on the Devin Haney undercard, and you know, I thought that I won, but it was so interesting that, you know, the very next fight after that, he fought for the title. So it was kind of like, it was kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, Shane, you're not that far away.
Yeah, damn right. You damn right. You ain't that far.
You're not that far away, boy. You just got to keep on staying consistent and get your mind right, and it's right there.
There was a kid in Vegas, right? I was living out in Vegas. I think it was 2015, 14, I think it was. And this kid, it was 2016. I think this kid I ran into, he said he was wanting to be a boxer, right? And he was going to the gym, he was boxing, and you know, he said he was going, I think he was with the church, that's what it was. And I guess he got invited to your dad's gym. So I was telling him something that O'Neal Bell does, and I learned it from O'Neal Bell's trainer. And you know, was the 1-2 punches on the back, the punching bag, the punching drills, 1-2, 1-2 hard, 1-2, 1-2 hard, and you do that as fast as you can until you run out of gas. And the thing is, you're gonna run out of gas. Your hands are gonna get slow, but the thing is to keep punching.
Right.
So I was telling him this, right? So he goes to tell your dad this, and your dad said, "Yeah, that's right." He said, "Yeah, you can mix it up." And your father was showing him how to mix it up with the 1-2s on it. That gets you in shape. That gets you ready for fight. Because the key to it is, no matter how tired you get, you got to keep moving your hands.
Yeah.
Don't got to be hard. You got to keep moving your hands. And I was like, wow. And that's how O'Neal Bell became light heavyweight champion of the world.
Can I ask you, what's your favorite fight? Like
my favorite fight, I got a few.
Okay.
I got a few. Okay. One of my all times is when my dad fought for the title, when he fought Alan Minter. That was the first time. I mean, he was so in tune for that fight. I've never seen him more in tune for a fight than that fight. I mean, Hearns was probably the second one, but this one he was determined to just go in there and take it, you know. And then I like Mike Tyson too. Mike Tyson, one of my favorite. You know, I like the way. I mean, I just love the way this guy went to work. Just Bruno, when he fought Bruno for the first time, you know. Yeah. when he fought Bruno, that's one of them. And a couple of your dad's fight too. Your dad fought. I know he had a beef with Vernon Forrest, man.
Yeah, man.
Images, man. When your dad fought Oscar De La Hoya, that's the one I like, man. That's the one I like, man. Your father was on.
Yeah, man. And one of my favorite fights with my dad is when he fought Margarito. That was
yeah.
That was incredible for me because so right before he walked out the locker room, I had actually just walked in. Like I had just walked in. He gave me a hug, and he looked over at me and was like, "Watch this. This is how you're supposed to do it." And it was the coolest things, because I'm like, all right, and like I'm just like, you know, like I just got there, you know, and I was like, all right, cool, like whatever. And we walk out to the ring, and then like just it was so masterful. And I think it was great because it was like he already knew, and he already knew what was gonna happen. And I thought that was pretty insane. It was almost like he had planned it. Like it was, but it was already written in his mind. And it was like, I don't care what you got. I don't care if you have the plaster of Paris. And I tell people this all the time. I said, even if he would have had that stuff in his gloves, he was losing that night. I just felt it. Like from that and his eyes, it was like there was nothing this man could do. He could have a bet. He could have whatever he wanted to have. He was losing that fight. He was getting knocked out. You know what I mean? And it was just like, and just to see it from just that, watch this, Shane. This is how you're supposed to do it. And walked. Like literally he said that and just like boom.
That's right. That's right. That's basically how you have to do it. You know what I mean?
Exactly, 100%. Especially being a fighter, you know what I mean? At the time I was still an amateur fighter, you know what I mean? Like, so like, yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it. That's how you're supposed to, you got to believe it here and here before it actually comes to life. And that's in anything, and whatever you do. Well,
we was rooting for him. We was rooting for him when he fought Mayweather. When he fought Mayweather, I thought he had him, man. I thought he had him, man, because he the those first 5 rounds, man, he was getting in Mayweather's ass, boy.
Yeah. No, he was doing his thing. I think I always tell people that, like, I think the worst thing he could have done for that fight was actually clip him like that. I think it was too soon. So not like he basically hurt him 2 times really good. And when you hurt somebody like that really good, you automatically think in your mind, okay, he's close. He's close to getting knocked out. Right. So I'm going to push a little bit harder than I would have. Right. Rather than if he would have took his time, and later on down the line, when we're a little bit more gassed out and we're a little bit, further in the fight, boom, that shot's going to hit a little bit different. Right. And you're going to get a little bit better of a response. And I think probably if that would have happened a little bit later, maybe we would have saw a different result. But because it happened so soon, I think Mayweather obviously was able to change up. Also too, my dad kind of, as they say, blew his load. So it was kind of like, he couldn't recover after putting yourself, especially my dad was like almost, I think he was like 39 at the time. He was almost 40.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, that was tough for him. So,
well, I know what you're saying about that feeling.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That feeling. It was the same thing when my dad was getting ready to fight Sugar Ray Leonard. We knew that if he didn't knock him out, that he was not getting that decision. Right. We knew my grandmother, which is my great grandmother, told him, she said, "You're not gonna win this fight." She told him, but Gran, we call her Gran. Gran told him, she was like, "You're not gonna win this fight." And it was funny because we had to get him. We never had to get him ready for training camp. He was always ready before they was ready. Yeah. But this time, man, we had to pack. My mom's had to pack his shit. And when he came home, we called go to your pack. He's here. They came and got him. That's why he did 8 weeks this time. It was the only time he ever took 8 weeks to go to training camp, because he usually does 6 weeks.
Okay.
But this time we had to do 8 weeks because he didn't really want to fight. He was kind of done with it. You know what I mean? But he already signed the contract, everything like that. It was hard to get his butt to the gym. So we kind of knew, when he left. I know when he left because I was the last one to say goodbye to him. And I like that feeling. I was like, this, for some reason, this is not going to go right. If he don't get this knockout with this dude, it's not going to go. You know what I mean? Right. That's, you get that feeling. I've never had that feeling when he's fighting. When he's fighting, we knew, okay, yeah, we're going. Even when it hurts, we like, oh, we got this. What
do you think? What do you think about that fight? Is that one of your favorite fights? Like I feel like it's one of my. That has to be like, that's the world's favorite fight, man. Like, bro, like that is like one of the best fights ever. Like those 3 rounds were insane.
Yeah, I know. It's more than just a fight. It was just everything leading up to the fight. Man. The trash talking, the tour that they did. It was so dope. And the more time he kept talking, I know that's the wrong thing to do. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because he's just going to get mad and he's going to go hard.
Hey, so I ain't going to lie. Your dad was ridiculously tough. And I mean, because Tommy was throwing. And he blew his load. And he was like, sure enough. Yep. All right, go ahead, come on.
But see, that's one thing they knew about Tommy. My dad and them knew that about Tommy. Yep. They knew that his chin wasn't solid. They knew that they had to fight him, because if Tommy would have sat out there and boxed, he would have probably got the win. You know what I'm saying? Because he did have great boxing skills. He was taller, used his jab, stay away. My dad had to make it a fight, and Tommy jumped in there and fought his fight, which was the wrong thing to do, and that was the outcome. But I guess my fight is the Mugabe, when he fought Mugabe.
Right.
That one was crazy, because I was with my dad every step of the way. I went to the gym with him every day, just there. And I watched his career from then to now, and you could see that how boxing was taking a toll on him. You could see, because he started slowing down. He wasn't bouncing like he used to. He's still more flat-footed with Mugabe a little bit, coming towards that after the 6th round. Mm-hmm. And you could tell he was, I remember after that fight, he didn't want to walk to the dressing room. Me and my brother, we walked him to the dressing room. Actually, he was just holding on to us. Feet was dragging. He was through. That we knew that at that point that this was it. So what is your favorite combinations that your dad taught you in the gym? I know you got some stories in the gym.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of stories.
Me too.
I mean, so probably one of my favorite combinations from my dad is going to be probably super duper simple, but I mean, it's jab to the head, jab to the stomach, right hand over the top, or like kind of like throat area,
Right.
Like you know what I mean, like jab, and that comes like right over the top, and that's the shot that actually, because my dad does that like flick,
Right.
He does that like yeah, like thing, like that jittery flick thing, and that's what got the shot with Mayweather. You know what I mean? Like that easy, basic shot almost knocked out one of the best fighters ever, right? And it's like so crazy when you think about that. Like boxing's not complicated. You know what I mean? Like boxing is not complicated.
No,
like it's that simple, and anybody can get cracked. Anybody can get hurt. Everything is timing and rhythm. You know what I mean? The punch selection, the punches really are not the thing. It's more so the rhythm and timing and the energy in there. You know what I mean? So that's really it.
One of my favorite combinations my dad taught me, and he taught me, say, it's the jab, and then you jab the top to the head, and then when you go to the body, you jab, and then when you do it again, you fake the jab to the stomach. If his hands come down, throw the right hand, bam. And then the one I used in the amateurs and I fought in regionals, he say, because I remember telling him about it, and when I was in that fight, the dude came after me on the first round. He just unloaded on me. And the only thing I could do is, I remember Dad said, when somebody does that, you just get in close, you keep your eyes up and you watch it. You watch where he's bringing his hands. If he's doing this, he's wide open. Just put the combos together. And I did just that. Right uppercut, left hook, straight right hand, bam, knocked the dude out. But the first round,
Are you Southpaw or Orthodox, or were you Southpaw? Or Orthodox? Southpaw. Nice.
My dad hated that. He used to always try to teach me the right way. But every time he would leave to go, when we're in the gym,
What you mean the right way? What you mean the right way?
Yeah, he
ain't the right way. No, come on, man. Don't do that. It ain't the right way.
That's my dad's thing. My dad said that the right way, that's the right way. He said you get more fights like that.
Yeah, he's old school, man.
Yeah,
he's old school, man. Come on, Pop. You can't even tell me that's the right way.
But that's what he did, man. He used to be bad. Every time he left, I would switch back. He'd be like, didn't I tell you not to do it that way? Do it the other way. And I was like, oh, man, I just couldn't get comfortable with it. So I ended up learning how to do both.
So what do you think about guys like, Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford, for instance, who did switch? What do you think about those guys?
Oh, I love those guys, man. I just wish all these guys that have these big records, all these guys that superstar, I wish they'd just get together like they used to do back in the day. It's not even them. It's just the promoters and the managers. They like to hold on to stuff too long.
No, 100%. Absolutely. I think it's that. But like, that's the type of stuff we need, because that'd be the type of stuff that we get, like how your dad's era was. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like those types of fights. And we have the guys and the material for those types of events. Right. So just put them together, man.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. What if your father and Oscar De La Hoya, your father and Mayweather, what if them guys never fought?
Exactly.
Same thing would happen. What if them guys never fought? Or what if they just waited too long to fight? Come on, man. You're really watering down the sport, man. You know what I mean? You're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some, but the thing is, you can always get back in the ring and do it again. You know what I mean? And get your thing back. It just creates more for the fight game. It brings back that old school. Like, a lot of guys fought each other 2 or 3 times, man.
Yeah.
They had that war going on with each other. Like Great Bow and Holyfield.
The thing is what I mean? Like, I think guys are too afraid to
lose their status,
to mess up, and I do think that is, from above, obviously, promoters, networks, things like that, they want to make you feel a certain way, obviously, so they can control you or control your money, and obviously then it controls your lifestyle and things like that. So obviously you're going to want to be able to put yourself in the best thing. But if you are giving your all if you are giving everything to this sport, you will be adored and loved, and people will show you. And the good thing about kind of now with social media and things like that is you can gauge it and you can go, hey, look at this. I know that you say I'm not worth nothing, but this says different.
No doubt.
Let's figure this out.
No doubt.
They want to see me fight. I know I have value. And I mean, look at guys like, Ryan Garcia. I mean, he doesn't even have a title, but he has a whole lot of social media behind him, and that is going to carry on to the rest of his career, no matter how it goes from now on.
Right, he'll always have his followers.
He'll always have that, and which means he always has money.
He
always has value, right? So he can lose to guys like, whatever. I would love to see that all the lightweights out there getting together, because all those guys can lose and to each other.
Then they're gonna move up anyways,
and it's gonna be great fights. Let's put it together. We don't know what. None of you guys have to be perfect. You guys are all great, and just let's see all y'all fight, and let's move forward. All this perfect stuff, cut it out. We just want to see great fights. Let's not water down the sport. Let's make it great.
All right. So what do you think about Demetrius Andrade?
I think he's a great fighter. I think he's extremely talented, good fighter, mean in there. He's very talented. I think a lot of guys avoid him for that reason. You know what I mean? And so hopefully, he's able to get a hold of some of these guys and able to prove himself and show the world who he is. You know what I mean? I think right now he hasn't been able to kind of do that. So I think that's kind of unfortunate for him, but in due time, I think he will be able to get those fights and he'll show everybody who he is. I think he's a great fighter. So
what do you think about young Holyfield?
Oh man, I'm proud of him, man. I'm proud of him, man. He's doing good. And I like his progression. I like he has good skills. He believes in himself. When he keeps on going, he's gonna do something great. I think he's gonna be a great fighter, and I'm proud of him.
No doubt. What about Nico Walsh?
Proud of him too, man. I actually he lives around close to me in Las Vegas, and he's a good dude. Every time we see him, he's always just respectful and good. And so I think he's definitely going to be moving forward. I think he'll grow and be good.
No doubt.
Thank you for watching Living on Purpose podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.